Please listen carefully.
Hey everybody, it's Darren here from Canadian Craft Beer Collective. Very excited today. We are at Phillips Brewing in our wonderful province capital, Victoria, BC, and we're sitting here with none other than Matt Phillips himself. And you know, before we get into this wonderful Electric Unicorn IPA, I just want to say, big fan of this beer. You know, in particular, this has kind of set itself away from the pack as within our portfolio, it's our number one beer that we do. It lends very well to the Southeast Asian palate, and it's doing extremely well. And I'd like to ask you, not so much about the beer right now, we'll get into that later, but let's talk about where we are. You know, we're in Victoria, British Columbia. It's a beautiful place, Vancouver Island, huge island off the coast of British Columbia. And, you know, I want to talk to you about it and what does this place mean to you?
Well, you know, I think maybe the first thing I'd say, I mean, I'm an import to Victoria. So I moved here because I love it here. It's got, you know, it's got everything. We're right by the ocean. We can go, here we are, it's February. I can go mountain biking tonight, or I can jump in the car and be skiing tomorrow.
It's no joke, when we were walking in here, I saw a guy walking, we're downtown Victoria right now, and there was a guy walking with a kayak and a paddle who just got out of the water. We're not right by the water, we are surrounded by water right now.
Yeah, well there you go. So, you know, it's a beautiful physical environment. We have mountains, we have the ocean, and we have outstanding opportunities for outdoor activities. So it really is kind of a beautiful natural setting for us to live in here.
You know, and I feel like this is a place that's just a short trip away from Vancouver, where the hustle and bustle of the city certainly gets going. You know, a place where I'm from, and it truly is. You can get a piece of island time here. Life slows down a little bit. It's more about the outdoors. It's a beautiful, pristine place, and you know what? Speaking of a pristine place, let's drink a pristine beer. So let's get into it. So we are getting into the Phillips Electric Unicorn White IPA, and can you talk to us a little bit about what we're about to try?
Yeah, sure. Well, Electric Unicorn is actually a relatively new beer to us. Maybe a year or two now. Maybe 3 years, but whatever. Time gets compressed when you make a lot of good beer. But it is one of our newer IPAs. And it's one that we got really excited about because it's one that is really quite a hybrid. You know, it brings in all sorts of big citrusy notes from the hops, but we also ferment it with a yeast that has all sorts of tropical flavors as well. Yeah. And so even though it's an IPA, and an IPA of course is a fairly assertive beer, the yeast that we use really mellows it, and so it becomes this wonderfully complex flavor with some you know, tropical notes and citrusy notes at the same time. But yet at the same time, it finishes dry and it's very quaffable, and it's you know, it really, it's, you know, you talk about a hybrid beer. It pulls from different, you know, pulls from the Northwest, the North America palate. It pulls from the European, Belgian culture. You know, it just pulls from all these places and pulls all of the best pieces together to make something that's really special and exciting.
Well, let's get, you described it very well. I want to drink it.
All right, okay, cheers.
Absolutely. So for me, you know, even before I take a hit of the hops, I'm getting almost like a banana, like a citrus, like a muted citrus tone to it. And I think this is why it does really well in Asia, is because you get these wonderful Pacific Northwest hops, and then you also get this wonderful sweetness. But it's not an artificial sweetness. It is a sweetness from the hop. It is sweetness from the yeast. And it brings these beautiful citrus tones. So absolutely
coriander, bananas, tropical fruit, soft, you know, mangoes. They're all in there. It's a fruit basket, but yet at the same time, it's a complex beer, and it has drinkability to it.
It's wonderful. Yeah. Well, cheers. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, guys, and for everybody watching back in Asia. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget Canadian Craft Beer Collective and Beer Matters. Cheers.